Hi, my name is Joan, co-writer Crolin, and I am now the matriarch, thank you, Susan, of the family.
And I'm Carol, co-writer myself, and I'm the baby of the family. And I always got special treatment.
Nana, how did our Nana come to be?
Well, first of all, her name is Ann Yurchison.
From Scranton, Pennsylvania, right?
I don't know. All I know is Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Scranton.
No, not Scranton.
It started with an S.
A Y. You should just look it up in the contacts.
She's in my favorites. Yeah, her house is in my favorites. If it's not, I'll call her Sal.
Hi, what's going on? Because I have to get my blood drawn.
Okay. Fast question.
Yes. We're having.
You?
Yeah, we're going to leave in 10 minutes. That's fine.
Okay. Hi, David. We're here sitting. Richard is filming us about Nana, our memories of Nana. Do you remember where she came from?
Pennsylvania, somewhere.
Yeah, it was Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Oh, you mean where she was
No.
born?
Where?
town?
What town? Do you know the town?
No, I just know it was Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Does
And I know she...
Does Youngstown ring a bell?
Who?
Youngstown?
Yes.
That's
No.
Now, how about Scranton?
Not a thing rings a bell because we just remember Pennsylvania. We don't remember the
I
town.
remember where.
I don't think we ever knew where the town.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
I know it's Youngstown.
there's nobody to, if you don't remember, does Carol remember?
I'm
No.
saying it's Youngstown. I
And I'm
swear it's
saying
Youngstown.
Scranton. We can
You know
look it
what?
up. We can look it up.
You could Google.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can. You can go online.
All right, that's what we're gonna do.
Nana came to my parents' house probably when she was about 17, 18, I would say more like 17. And she was working for another lawyer in town. His last name was Cohn. And for some reason, she left there and she came to work for my parents when Susan was 6 months old. And she never left. Lucky us.
That's the truth.
Because she took such good care of us and loved us unconditionally.
Yep, that's for
And
sure.
our children and our grandchildren.
Yep. Her life was children, and she was so good with children. Even our children. I mean, the child could be crying, and all she had to do is get that child in her arms and just bring it to her chest. It was over.
Nana would always tell us a story about somebody getting hurt or dying when we wanted to go ride our bike or we wanted to go roller skate. She always had a story to tell. She just read in the paper of a girl that went roller skating, fell down and banged her head and she died.
I remember every year I would get ice skates because my foot grew, and every year there's probably a stack of ice skates somewhere, in some world, because I would get the ice skates and be so excited to ice skate, and she would say to me, "You can't go ice skating." You know, there was a girl who looked, and they always looked just like us. There's a girl that looked just like you. She went ice skating and got a big cut on her face because somebody's skate, she fell and somebody's skate came into her face and her skin and cut her wide open. That was the end of it. I wasn't going to go ice skating. I didn't want to have a scar on my face for the rest of my life. But she did this to keep us close. And it's sad as an adult, I look back and say that, but we were her life. We really were. She thought she was a dentist. When our teeth would get loose, she would tie a string to our teeth, and you could tell the horrible part.
Yep, she would tie it to the doorknob and then shut the door and hope that the tooth came out. Sometimes it didn't, but there was always a lot of blood, and then we would bite down on a gauze pad.
Another thing that happened in the bathroom was our enemas. She'd fill this red rubber enema bag that was on a hanger with warm soapy water, by the way.
Yeah.
And she would hang it on the metal
shower.
part of the shower. And she'd lay us across her lap. I think I was sometimes bigger than she was when she did this, because she did this a long time. And she would give us an enema, and I would plead with her, enough, enough, enough. And eventually, I was freed. Yes.
But that ruined me for the rest of my life. You know, I think I think there was a time there where there was a discussion about Nana learning to drive.
I don't remember that, but I know.
But I don't. But yeah, I think our father would have liked her to have learned to drive, but she really didn't want to.
Well, it would make it easier on everybody,
Yeah.
but that's not. I think she was afraid,
Yeah.
like everything else.
She was afraid she'd
Yeah.
get killed driving the car.
I remember taking her to the supermarket, and I just got my license. Maybe it was 17 and a half. Took her to the Pathmark. We walked in. She wanted to get some meat, chopped meat for whatever, and she goes back to the butcher in the back, all the way in the back of the store, and gets what she wants. And she takes money out of her wallet and stands there. And I come back looking for her. I said, "What are you doing?" She says, "I have to pay the man." I said, "You don't pay here, you go up front." She had no knowledge of
Life outside
really
of our
what
house.
happened outside of 389 East 42nd Street. There was nothing. That was her world. That was for sure.
About dating, she did have,
Early
I don't know
on.
if it was a boyfriend, but I think she did date.
Yes,
Because she did go out.
yes.
And I think one man came to the house and came inside and picked her up. I'm a little fuzzy on that.
Yeah, I'm sure you were right. Yeah.
Never engaged.
Oh, no, no. I think she was
We
so
talked
content.
about that. No, we talked about that. That she probably had opportunity. I think she did have opportunity to get married, but never took it.
No. We were
She liked
really
her
her
life.
family.
I really think
Yeah.
she liked her life.
Yeah.
She was very content.
She used to sit in this one chair, and when my parents had their friends over, the Rubinsons and the Moscows and whoever it was, and their sisters, you know, and Dad's family, she was always in the room with the group because she felt that this was her
And that-
family too, and that burned my mother's ass.
Our mother.
Really,
Who is she to sit there?
right?
But she never said anything.
But she never said anything to Nana, and that really was hurtful to me. Who was she to sit there? She's the family. She's my mother, you know.
But in her eyes, she wasn't family.
No. I think she was jealous that
Yep.
she couldn't do or
Absolutely.
be.
And have the response that Nana
Yeah.
got from all of us that
Yeah.
she didn't get.
Yeah.
I wasn't around. I was down in South Carolina.
You didn't come up for her funeral?
Of course I did, but you were here when she was in the home and visited her, and
Yeah. I
and-
took the kids. I remember
and she
taking.
adjusted to that. From what you said, she
Yeah.
adjusted very well.
Yep.
I mean, for somebody that only lived at our
Yeah.
house and was never out in the world, that was like a
Yeah.
big change.
Okay. The question.
So she died. She was probably 80.
Well, if Mom died at 85 and she died about a year and a half, 2 years later, and she was
Maybe
just a few
83.
years younger, she
82,
was probably
83.
anywhere between 83. She could have been 85 too, for all we know. But between 82 and 85, let's say.
But I
We-
never remember her sick. Never. You know, she never had an operation.
No,
She was never in the hospital.
no.
And tell how she died peacefully.
Yes, she did. Well, before I tell that story, Nana lived in the house after Mom passed away for probably around a yearish. we put the house on the market, and I talked to my sisters, and I thought it was time for her to find a home that she could be comfortable with. And I don't remember.
Susan and I went and looked at places.
Yep, and we ended up with this place in Passaic. And she was allowed to bring her furniture, so she had her bedroom furniture with her. I remember that. Another thing that I remember is that she bought tin boxes that she used to keep cookies in. So when I would buy her cookies, she would put them in the tin box. And I remember bringing Heather, Taylor, Ryan, and Andrew to visit her one afternoon. And they sat on the bed, and she put on the TV, and she played with them. And she, of course, got out her little tin box. They wasn't a little, it was a big tin box of cookies. She gave them cookies, they had candy. They had such a good time with her. And shortly after that, I think she also loved, they had a garden on the roof or some flat area. I think it was outside the dining room. You came out and there's this big flat area, and they had these square boxes, wooden boxes, and where the residents would plant vegetables.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep, and she just loved that. It was, she made the best out of it. She really did. And I remember going to see her, and by that time I used to call her Blinky once in a while. She always blinked with her eyes. So she must have had dry eyes. And she asked if I would tweeze her chin. And she was laying in bed. She was very tired. And we just talked, and I tweezed her, with each hair I pulled out, I said, "Did I hurt you? Are you okay?" And she said yes. The next day she passed away.
In her sleep.
Yep,
With the curlers in her hair.
yep. And that was God's
I don't
way
think
of
she ever
taking
went.
good care of her.
I don't
really.
think she went to a doctor for a physical.
I don't remember that at all.
And look how she lived
Yep,
and then died in her sleep.
yep.
Beautiful.
I put my money in for that one, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, such a good person. She was treated well at the end of her life.
Yep,
She deserved it.
yep.